When you bring in a veteran quarterback, you're bringing in a guy that is supposed to give you the security that he won't lose you football games. And that's what the Steelers were hoping for in getting Russell Wilson. Now, in this game against the Ravens, Russell Wilson made two crucial errors at very important points of the game that one could argue reasonably lost them the game. Now, I'm not saying that if Russell Wilson doesn't make these mistakes, the Steelers definitely win. But I'm just saying that these mistakes made it essentially impossible for the Steelers to win this game. Now, full disclosure, those of you who've been following along with my reviews, I am somebody that was on camp Justin Fields before the season and early in the season. And my logic there was that Russell Wilson would not be the veteran that would prevent mistakes. And I didn't feel like his level of play was very good the last 2 years in Denver. I saw more potential in Fields with his talent, more chance to grow. So on that front, admittedly, I was wrong, right? Russell Wilson had a much higher ceiling remaining than I thought. He's played very well this year. Changing to Wilson was the right choice. He's played better than Fields did this year. But one of the things about bringing in that veteran is you don't want situations like this game against the Ravens. These were mistakes that one would expect out of Fields, not Wilson, not your veteran guy. So let's break down these two mistakes, go into them in some detail, and kind of talk through what happened on these plays. The first one is at a 7-7 ball game. There's 1:11 to go in the second quarter. The Steelers have a 2nd and 3, and they've been moving. They've got down to about the Ravens' 22-yard line, 23-yard line. And let's run this play really quickly, and then we can talk through what happened. So Wilson drops back to throw, rolls to his right and sees a huge gap up the middle and scrambles up until about the 4-yard line where he takes a big hit and fumbles, ultimately losing the ball, and the Ravens gain possession. All right, so let's start by looking at personnel. The Steelers come out here and they appear to be lined up in 12 personnel. The one running back is Najee Harris. They've got 2 tight ends. This looks like Washington. I think that's Michael Pruitt over there. And then the 2 wide receivers are Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin. So what the Steelers are going to face here is the Ravens are just running a cover 1 man, but they're blitzing their underneath guy. So here's your deep safety. And if you see at the snap, they're blitzing. This looks like Roquan Smith. So you've got 5 defenders coming and 1 deep safety. That means everybody else is manned up. Man to man. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody manned up. What the Steelers are going to run as their concept, they're going to run a mesh concept with Washington and Austin. Good concept to run against man. And they're going to send Pruitt and Jefferson deep. So as we watch this unfold, Wilson drops back to throw. Here's the mesh. He actually seems to have Austin right here. For some reason, he doesn't seem interested in that throw. But he's got Austin wide open on the mesh concept over the middle. But as he's reading this out, it looks like maybe he was looking for the deep shot initially because they just have the single high. So that's possible. That's why he missed Austin. But the deep shot's covered here over the top. And you got Humphrey on Pruitt, which is a mismatch. But coming across the middle, this throw is there. That's kind of the throw to make on this play. But as he looks deep, then I think he gets uncomfortable because of the inside rush here against Broderick Jones, and he decides to bail. And because it's a man concept with just single high, you've got the crossers that have taken everybody out of the middle of the field. These guys were running down to the sideline. You just have 1 deep safety with eyes on the quarterback, and look at all this green grass. Russell Wilson sees it, and he goes. And he does great until about here. Now, at this point, this is where you expect your veteran quarterback, look, you've done everything you need to do. Here was the first down marker at the 17-yard line. He's down here at the 9-yard line. You got the first down. You made a big play. Just get down. And this is where Wilson turns into, he just makes a decision that you'd expect someone like Fields, someone with less experience, to make, and he decides to take on the safety. I don't understand what possessed him to do this. Just get down. You've done everything you need to do right here. You're done. Why are you trying to take on a safety, in the second quarter of a game? We live to see another day, and let's get this ball into the end zone. Now, the only time I would be like, all right, go for it, is if he thought he could score. But, you're definitely not running through him into the end zone. So I don't understand this. This is not the decision-making of a veteran. This isn't this isn't what you're expecting to get when you put in the veteran quarterback. He takes a huge hit, fumbles the football, and the Ravens recover. And the Steelers lose a golden opportunity to take a lead here. They could have taken a 14-7 lead if they punched it in the end zone. So we look at it from his perspective, and here's Austin here. It does look like he's looking down toward Jefferson in that area, because your crossers are right here. Here's Washington, here's Austin, and he is looking out that way. So he must be looking for the deep shot. And then he does come right here down, like right here. I wonder why he doesn't throw this. This is 2nd and 3. Austin has the leverage right there. He can go. I don't know why Wilson didn't throw this ball. That was the play here. And if we look over here, we know how fast Austin is. If he makes the catch right around there, these guys are all running in the opposite direction. So it's not like they're going to peel off very quickly. He probably gets down to the 12-yard line or so, which would have been similar to what Wilson got during this run. But so here he does look at Austin briefly right here. And then I think the rush inside from Van Noy spooks him. And so he decides to escape. He's got room to escape. And then he runs. The middle of the field is completely vacated. And then right here, he realizes he's not going to be able to beat the safety to the goal line in this direction. So he tries to cut it back as the safety comes in. And I don't know. This, like I said, just get down. Just get down. At the very least, veteran quarterback, if you're coming here and you're about to run through a safety, get two hands on the football. One of those two things. Preferably just get down. You're 36 years old. You've made a great play. You've gained 15 yards on a scramble. Just get down. Instead, he fumbles it and loses it. And the Ravens would actually take this and drive all the way down for a touchdown to take a 14-7 lead of their own. All right, so on to mistake number 2. We're jumping ahead to 13:06 to go in the fourth quarter. It is 2nd and 7, and the Steelers are down 24-17. They actually got the ball down 24-17 and had to punt, but were given new life by the Minkah Fitzpatrick interception. And so here they are, 2nd and 7. They're at about their 36-yard line, need to come down to tie this game in the fourth quarter. This time, the Steelers again are in 12 personnel. They've got one running back. Their 2 tight ends this time are up over on the right. They've got Pruitt again and Darnell Washington. Austin is over here. Van Jefferson is over here. Let's run the play once, and then we'll come back and break it down. So here they come. Wilson rolls out and throws it right to Marlon Humphrey, who takes it all the way back for a pick 6. So let's see what happened on this play, how we got here. So the Ravens, again, are running a cover 1 man. This time here is your deep safety. But this time they don't blitz the 5th guy. So if you notice, they're only rushing 4. And so they've got man-to-man coverage over here. Man here, man here, man here. Deep safety, and he's manned on Pruitt, but they do have one underneath guy who's just there as the robber. So that's the difference in their coverage from last time. Their route combinations, they're going to get Washington coming up, Jefferson coming up and out, everything coming over to this side of the field, Austin coming across. So you can see the progression here. Everybody's coming here. I don't know why the spacing is such. That's not ideal. I don't know who's wrong there, but I'm sure that Washington and Austin are not supposed to be that close to each other. And then Michael Pruitt starts by blocking the end and then is going to release late and run a flat route. And the one kind of downside to this, because I know a lot of times in these situations, they will leave the end unblocked because as they do a fake run action this way. That's a little bit more convincing to the defensive end that there is a run in that direction if they're unblocked. So sometimes they'll crash down and kind of run themselves out of the play. The downside of blocking it like they did was that once Pruitt releases, then the end is in great position to just come downhill and pressure Wilson, which is exactly what he ends up doing. So he just comes straight downhill. Wilson tries to make a throw over to Humphrey. He does throw it to Humphrey, but throw it to Pruitt, and it's intercepted. And this is the cardinal sin here. When you're throwing to the outside on an outbreaking route, you cannot miss short, and you cannot miss inside. And Wilson puts this ball inside his back shoulder. I mean, and an experienced corner like Humphrey, who has excellent ball skills, and you're going up against a backup tight end, and Pruitt, he's really your third tight end. This is already a kind of coverage mismatch here, and then you're putting it behind your third tight end right in a zone where the good corner can get to it. I mean, this is a very poor throw, and a throw that you would expect somebody with Wilson's experience to not make. Miss this throw, fine, but don't miss it behind him. Don't miss inside. You can miss outside all you want. Throw this over Pruitt's head outside. Live to play another down. But you cannot miss this throw inside. And Wilson throws a back-breaking pick six. And suddenly, instead of 24-17, it is 31-17. And the Steelers are left with a huge hill to try to climb to get back into this game. This play essentially ensured that the Steelers would lose this game. So we can watch it again from this view here. Wilson fakes the run action. He gets pressure as Michael Pruitt releases, and look at the location on this throw. It's way too far inside. He throws it behind him to the inside. You cannot miss this throw inside. And these are the things that occasionally are frustrating, because this is what you have and I'm not saying that, like I said at the top, Wilson earned his spot this year. He's played very well, but when you bring in the vet, you're expecting you're not going to have a guy lose games. The guy who we were worried about losing games for the Steelers was Justin Fields. Russell Wilson's supposed to at least not do the things that lose you games, and hopefully do some things that contribute to winning games, which is what made these two plays so disappointing. This isn't what you expect out of a quarterback with his experience. Final commentary. I know there was some discussion about Humphrey holding the ball out behind him in an apparent taunt, and Humphrey himself said that he was just trying to signal to David Ojabo to get him the ball. Honestly, hearing his explanation and then viewing it from that perspective, to full disclosure, I initially was just like, well, that's clearly a taunt. But then seeing his explanation, he's looking over at David Ojabo and he holds the ball out in that direction. Then as he's running, I feel like this could be interpreted because he keeps looking back at David Ojabo and looking back at the ball. I think what he's saying is, if you get behind me, I can hand you the ball. So I actually kind of believe him. Like, I think that may have actually been what he was doing. I mean, it definitely looks, on first blush, you look at it and you're like, he's taunting Calvin Austin with the ball. But I feel like his explanation actually makes sense. He looks at David Ojabo, he holds the ball out, and he's looking back and forth between Ojabo and the ball. I think he's just telling him, come up behind me and I'll hand you the ball and you can score a touchdown. Anyway, like I said, disappointing from your veteran quarterback. These are not the kinds of mistakes you'd expect someone with Wilson's experience to be making. Hopefully Wilson will clean it up going forward and that the Steelers can make a run here down the stretch and into the playoffs.